Uh, I can do a demo. This is going to go poorly. I can foresee it because it's a live demo with code that is in all kinds of insane shape right now. But why not? Okay, so hopefully that's the right window. Yeah. Okay. So permissions now has visibility on the organization record. To be super clear, this is on my branch. You will not see this in production anywhere. So these are sort of the global permission, default permissions. So default organization access on a file. These all need better wording. And sorry for the tiny gray text. But basically, the permission that'll be assigned to new documents for all organization members. And then actually there's a default public access. I don't think we're going to have this on when we ship this V1, but the system is built for it. This is very much mirroring how Google Drive works. So if you wanted, I cannot imagine a world in which you would ever want default public access to an Omni dashboard on for all your new documents, but God knows why not. Again, probably not going to ever turn this on. And then Access Boost is Jared and ChatGPT and mine's best name for how the fuck to name poke through. Excuse my language. Have to cut that out. Basically, we're really struggling for how to describe poke through, and Ariel pointed out, like, what if we just did what we have superpowers, where we just said we're not going to describe it, we're going to make you read, because you should read before you turn this thing on. So basically, this needs bannering and things to describe what it does, but we should. This basically says like the whole instance access boost is not enabled. You cannot turn it on. Does not turn on everywhere. Just says you can turn it on. You'll see in a minute what that means. And then under
Quick,
these, we have the
quick
all
question
the
on this one.
yeah.
So if it's at the org level, that means that this is going to be a global permission across all connections,
Uh,
correct?
right now, yes,
The
and
access boost would be.
yeah, and again, we can get super. And all it says is you can turn it on, not it is on, that you can turn it on.
Ah,
And
okay.
yeah, it's just saying that a user with the permission, with the right to permiss things, can go permiss people. You'll see in a minute what that means.
Okay.
So by default, it does nothing. It just says you can turn this super scary feature off or on.
Yep.
So it's just it's the nuclear control for that. This is just the different levels you can opt people into. Explorer will not be available on launch, probably. Again, that's one we don't really have yet. So it'll probably go away before we launch, but we'll need it, but we just don't have it quite yet. So it'll probably get pulled. So yeah, so that's the just top level permissions. If we go into a new workbook here, I haven't put this on dashboard yet, so we're going to look at the workbook. You'll notice we have two share buttons now. This blue one is my new one. If we click it, we get this UI where we can see that this one is set to. Oh, okay. So one thing to know is that for this is reflecting how existing customers will be treated. So anybody in the organization will have manager right on it. Public has no access. This again will probably go away for the launch. We won't do this, but it's here. And then you can see down here that I am the owner of this file, so I can't modify myself. Nobody can modify because I'm the owner. If I go up here and I say, you know what, I don't want people to have manager. They should have maybe like Explorer by default of this. I click that and it pops right in and just saves. This will be what people will see for new customers. For existing customers, we're going to switch everybody will be managers on new existing documents, and then they'll be able to like make choices. And this is mostly an effort to keep things as similar as they are today. I expect most customers are going to want to go and like lock everything down, but because they're all open now, we don't want to suddenly lock them down when we deploy.
Yeah.
And then if I turn on Access Boost here, what this does is says anybody who in the organization has Access Boost, we do a little icon, we call it out in the token here, we call it out up here. We get very prominent about Access Boost is on this. So we don't let you do that accidentally.
This is so awesome.
So then down here we can pick and add in users and groups. There's a little bit of a lie about the group thing. It'll work Monday. And then of course these are terrible because I'm just shoving in the GUIDs. We will eventually actually put the name and have it be pretty. And you can say like, I want to provision. I was a user in a group, and I want to put them at editor role, and I want to have access boost on. I can do all that. And this needs some love UI wise here.
Luke, what's going to happen if if a singular owner gets deleted?
They cannot be deleted. Oh, you mean the
Like,
user?
what if the user gets deleted? Yeah.
The user, well, so users can't really be deleted, so they'd still be the owner, but actually, as part of the deletion process or the archival process, it'll make you reassign ownership of all their
Okay.
documents.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's the same way like most systems work. They're like, oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god, yeah, it's one of the many. The backlog of this thing is pretty epic. But yeah, that'll be one of the things we deal with. You can see, so one of the things I did is we have deterministic colors for the letters. It's basically just like weird code that basically like picks a random color based on the first letter, so it is stable. We'll probably do some more revising on that, and you can tell the groups because there's a little icon. We'd like to do avatars eventually, like pulled off their Google account so that they don't, so they actually can see the pictures. So yeah, so then if I click share here, I will crash my server, so I am not going to do that. But if I go over to here, where I have clicked share a few times, you can see what it looks like with a bunch of Lukes on it, because that's what I have access to right now. So over here, I've got automated test user. I can change their role. I don't know why I would pick no access, but I guess I can. So I can write them as no access. Horrifyingly, I can also do this, but actually you can see it locked me out and said you couldn't do that back there in the background. I need to tweak some things here, but I can move around the role. Right now you can't toggle access boost through here because there's a bug. I'm gonna nail that down. And then I can also revoke access, which just pops them off. And I can transfer ownership to this person. This is not, neither of these are ready quite yet, but again, probably Monday they'll be ready. So copy a link is just grab the link. Trying to think what else is going on here.
Is there only ever one owner?
There's only ever one owner. That
Okay.
is the rule of ownership. Yeah. So you can reassign to anybody you want if you have manager or above rights. But yeah.
What is the planned experience for a no access visit to an item?
A 40 something. Basically, not. It's a little bit of, it won't 404. It'll tell you the document exists, but it'll say you don't have access. And eventually, you want to have like a ask for access, kind of like Drive does.
Okay.
If you
as
are
long
a member
as
of
long
the
as we're
organization.
open, yeah, as long as we're open to the request eventually, I think that's
Yeah. For now,
That's
it's
great.
going to be like, go away. You don't have access, but
Yep.
we'll get prettier with it. Yeah. One kind of cool thing is I've been using, I have an Omni on Omni instance locally, so I like literally reflect the Omni database on my personal machine. So I've been actually using it to look at my data. So here's actually the permissions grid for one of the docs. This is actually showing me like that the user is permissed on the document and it all works. And then there's actually a history table, which is kind of horrific, which gives you every time we write to the history, or every time we write a permit, we write in here. So every time any setting on a document changes or one of these permits, we write a huge record. So it should be really cool, easy to do. Nice system activity stuff on like audible records. Everything is already built to be auditable. So when you write, I write a copy of the record every time. Or if you delete something, I actually write a revocation record into here. So
Woohoo!
We should be auditable out of the box.
It's amazing.
That's great, Luke.
Yeah. We should very easily launch, I think, by end of year with users and groups on files, and I should be able to demo folders early next week as well. Folders, flat folders, so no nesting folders, but flat folders is actually built out already. So the server does not like me right now, but I will. So yeah, yeah, lots of like things to deal with, but it mostly works. Yeah.
Yeah, I started looking at some
Look, the org level settings that you.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, just wanted a quick question. So the org level settings that you showed at the very beginning, I think at least 2 of those were like defaults, right? They were not like going to retroactively change anything. Was the access boost one, if you disable that, does that disable existing documents that have access boost on?
It locks it out, just turns the whole organization off. Yeah.
Okay.
And there is no default access boost on. I think that's too dangerous. I think you have to opt in each one.
Well, right. That's too dangerous unless we want to merge that silly thing I showed last week as a stopgap. But I'll catch up with you after this and decide if we want to do that.
Well, I mean, it's too dangerous to be the part of the long-term design. I don't mean that we can't
Yeah,
for sure.
Like,
Let's go talk to a couple Sequely shops about sort of their expectation for permissions and stuff like this too, just to try to get an understanding of kind of why or why not it's a good thing.
One thing to understand, one thing that is pretty easy in the permission scheme is to put access boost on a folder. And then it will apply to everything in that folder. So you can basically like say like this is
That
my
makes a
SQL
lot,
dashboards
yeah.
folder.
But
Boost
then it's like
everything there.
public dashboards get it, which I can see a world where that makes sense, but I think that we just want a system that, you know, is logical, and some people have really different views of what permissions mean.
Yeah, I don't and to be clear, very open to changing that name. That was like after a bunch of iterations, we were like, yeah, access boost, that sounds good.
Looker still doesn't have document level permissions, right?
I don't know.
I want to say
I'm
no.
pretty sure they do.
Wait, what do you mean?
I
Like
think it's all
on
folder
an
based. Like
individual
content
list or
permissions. I'm like pretty sure they do.
I thought content permissions were only at the folder level.
Nah, we put them on. No,
No, I don't think
they're
so.
on. I did
They
it
are
in
at content.
2016. It was a long
Okay,
time
you
ago
know,
now, but
I'm a little behind on these things.
I also know
Luke,
way
one more
too much about.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I've learned way too much about Google Drive's scheme and some of the hilarious corners it has that are just like both clever and awful. So, yeah.
Maybe related to that, I was hoping to talk through just briefly some of the things we talked about in terms of like when we do have nested folders, like how permissions will cascade and be interpreted in that nesting scenario. Do you want to talk about that now, or is that an open enough question that we should hold off on it?
I have distinct thoughts, but we should let other people demo and we can come back if there's extra time.
Okay.